episode 172 of Manage the Wild. I'm Nick Madsen. Today, I found myself in a growing paradox or a conundrum. So I currently work on a ranch for just a little bit each week. Not very much time, roughly 8 to 12 hours a week when my schedule allows me. And at this ranch that I'm working at, we grow hay for wildlife, for elk feeding. And today, while I was sitting on the tractor and I was mowing the grass, getting it ready to be raked and baled, I found myself in an interesting situation. So we are growing food for elk, which are wildlife. But then while I'm cutting the field, I'm displacing wildlife. I was shoving out, there was chuckers on the ground. We had some partridge. There was, it looked like rough grouse from a distance. There were also ducks and geese with goslings. And all these things are getting pushed out of the way because I'm mowing. And they're being displaced. And so I found the paradox of wanting to help wildlife but displacing wildlife at the same time. I think that is really what life is about. When we're trying to do good or trying to help something, we often will create a situation of displacement on the opposite end. And I don't know if there's a way around it. Because you could say, well, let's grow a big enough building that we could just grow it inside the building. But then every time we build a road, every time we build a house, every time we build a building, we're displacing something. Whether it's big or small, we're displacing something. And that's the challenge of being human and understanding that the role that we play around us is we're never going to be zero on something. We're never not going to affect something. This little fawn, I must have watched it for a couple hours because I'd make a pass and this fawn would get up and move a little bit closer to the middle. And then I would do a few more passes. And obviously I'm cutting grass and I'm getting closer and closer and the area is getting smaller and smaller, creating more and more edge effect as well as fragmentation. And I just kept pushing it. And each time I did, I felt bad. And at one point I got off the tractor and I tried to shush him away because I was like, just leave the area and you'll find safety somewhere else, just not in this field. And I can never figure out where the little bugger was. It would just lay down and I probably walked within 5 feet of it multiple times. And then when I got on the tractor and got into the area, it picked up and took off running again. And then later on, there was chuckers, a mother and a bunch of chicks. And I started cutting, and the mother flew off, but the chicks haven't been able to fly yet. And I could see the grass moving right in front of the mower. So I hurry and stop the mower, and I let the chicks move out of the way. And when I thought that they had all left, I started the mower up, and then grass would start moving again. And so I did it multiple times to make sure all the chicks were out of there. And then the section that I was cutting today is near a river. So every time I got near the river, there was ducks and their little ducklings. They're getting almost fully grown. They look pretty grown. But then there was also some geese and some goslings. And every time I would come by, they would have to get up and move to another area. So it didn't matter what I'm doing. I'm just constantly affecting wildlife around me, whether I'm trying to be helpful or not. And that's the conundrum and the challenge we face, the paradox that we face, is when we help something, we are going to affect something else. And that is the challenge of biologists, because we have to decide what takes precedence. Wildlife management. If we feed elk, then we're obviously in the wintertime going to be possibly hurting some other wildlife, whether it's deer or pronghorn, or we're going to be hurting the elk themselves because bringing them close together, we could possibly spreading disease. And this is the challenges that wildlife biologists face every day. All right, you guys, have a great day. Stay wild.